Another reason that we rebalance, another value that it can add to your portfolio, is it allows you to tax manage your portfolio. We all know that one of the things that's a certainty that none of us can avoid is the fact that we will experience taxation, especially in this country. We know that we're going to have to pay taxes. I think it was probably Benjamin Franklin who said there's only two things that are certain, right? Death and taxes. So if it is a certainty, if it's something that we know that we're going to deal with, we want to make sure as we think about rebalancing, is there a way, is there a mechanism that we can do so that will help us from a tax standpoint?
Well, the cool thing about the Money Guy Show is we love to give case studies. So, why I tell people that this is powerful for rebalancing for tax purposes, it's easier if you actually have an illustration to see how this works. And Bo, I loved Daniel did this. He was trying to throw a little bit towards your way, but 2 birds, 1 stone.
2 birds, 1 stone. So think about this. Let's say that Tim is an investor and he has $200,000 in a taxable investment account. So there's going to be some natural tax drag associated with that. Let's say that the target allocation in this account is 50% S&P 500 and 50% international. So this is an all equity portfolio, or $100,000 invested in each of those, right? Well, let's assume that we go through a year like 2022, where maybe the market was not as strong and the S&P 500 loses 20% and the international fund loses 30%. So now, instead of having a $200,000 account, Tim is down to a $150,000 account. And instead of him being 50-50 allocated, he has 47% in his international holdings and 53% in his S&P 500. You would argue that he is out of balance and he likely needs to, quote unquote, rebalance his portfolio. Anything you'd add to that?
Well, I think it's interesting because we are, without meaning to, we did this in financial mutant fashion because the easy way to rebalance this is to look at your U.S. stocks, your international, take them right back to the same allocation. But the problem is, if you just did it in that simple way, it would only generate about $1,500 of taxable losses that you'd be able to recoup. Now, I've already hinted at this at the intro of the show. If you combined this rebalancing strategy with tax loss harvesting, where you bought something that was similar but not the same, so that it actually passes the IRS rules, you could actually use this opportunity of tax rebalancing to generate a huge tax savings.
Yeah, that's right. Instead of selling 5,000 of one holding and buying 5,000 of the other, you're saying he could sell the entire account. He could sell all of both of them, buy into something similar but not identical, and he's going to have a huge loss benefit that he's going to be able to use both this year as well as many years into the future. So rebalancing can be a great thing that not only allows us to tie ourselves to our overall investment goals and objectives, but it can be something that we utilize, especially in years like last year, to help us save on taxes.
Because it lets us pull in another financial tool like the tax loss harvesting. And I was going to say, because a lot of people would be like, you guys are optimists. Why would you bring up a pessimistic thing like a bear market and the market being down 20%? Let me tell you the other side. When things are good, and this is why I love when you bring these financial tools together, when markets are good and you're up now 20 or 30%, you could combine rebalancing with not only the loss harvest that you did back during the bear market, because some of those best performing months are right after the bear market, and you get into that first beginning part of the bull market. You could pair that with charitable giving.
That's right.
Because you can give appreciated holdings to your favorite charity. You can then, because you probably set that basis much lower. As long as you held it for a year, it's a huge tax benefit. This is the way I've told you guys when I give to charities. I love giving appreciated holdings. I love tax loss harvesting. And if you're looking at the when component, when do you actually do this? Use rebalancing as kind of that trigger point, because you're going to be consistent. You're going to have a period of time that you're looking at this, and it's going to, prompt the action that makes all this possible.
Again, when we think about our financial lives and being a financial mutant and building financial security is really a combination of a lot of little small tasks. It's small tasks that we end up adding up over time. What I think is amazing is most people think about rebalancing and it's strictly an investment thing. Oh, okay, rebalancing investment. Here we are doing an entire section talking about, well, really rebalancing not only can affect your investment portfolio, but it can also affect your taxes. And if you can frame your mind to think about it that way, you'll be amazed at how much these small changes can have a huge impact later on in your financial life.
You get to stack these things. I love that. If you can just change little things in your behavior, you will get big results in the long term. Hey, it's almost like we're talking about compounding.
That's right.
That's always something that we work on here.